Welcome to this Premier Training revision video that takes a look at the Purchases Daybook and the Purchases Returns Daybook. The Purchases Daybook is a book of prime entry. Books of prime entry are the first place in the accounting system where financial documents are recorded. They're not part of the double entry bookkeeping system, but they're used to give totals which are then entered into the accounts. The Purchases Daybook is essentially a list of purchases made by a business, but only those purchases made on credit terms, from suppliers where a business holds a trade account. And the Purchases Daybook is prepared from individual purchase invoices received from suppliers to a business over a specified period, which could be a day, a week, or even a month. At the end of the period specified by the business, the Purchases Daybook is then totalled, and these totals are transferred to the double entry system in the general ledger. And the individual invoices we recorded in the Purchases Daybook are posted to the Purchases Ledger. The Purchases Ledger is a specific ledger separate to the general ledger, where a business keeps all the separate supplier accounts. At this stage, you don't need to be concerned with the postings to the ledgers, as you'll learn about these in the AAT Foundation Certificate. OK, so let's look at the typical elements that make up a Purchases Daybook. For each purchase invoice received by a business, we'll need to record the date, the name of the supplier concerned. Each supplier will be given their own unique account code or reference number. And we need to record the invoice number received for the purchase. Next, we need to record the value of the invoice received. And where a supplier is registered for VAT, VAT will be included on any invoices or credit notes received. So we record the net value of goods purchased after including any trade discount, the amount of VAT the business can reclaim from HMRC on each invoice, and in the total column, the total amount owing to the supplier for each invoice, that is, the net purchase price plus any VAT. Each invoice is recorded sequentially in the Purchases Daybook as it's received. And finally, as explained earlier, at the end of the specified period, the Purchases Daybook is totalled and made ready for transfer to the ledgers. Now let's take a look at the Purchases Returns Daybook. Again, the Purchases Returns Daybook is a book of prime entry. But whereas the Purchases Daybook records a list of credit purchases that have been made by a business, the Purchases Returns Daybook records those purchases that have been returned to suppliers that were previously purchased on credit terms. And whereas the Purchases Daybook was prepared from individual purchase invoices, the Purchases Returns Daybook is prepared from credit notes received from suppliers over the same period. Again, at the end of the period specified by the business, the Purchases Returns Daybook is totalled, and these totals are transferred to the double entry system in the general ledger. And this time it's the individual credit notes received that are posted to the Purchases Ledger. The Purchases Returns Daybook uses virtually the same layout as the Purchases Daybook we looked at earlier. For each credit note received, we need to record the date of receipt, the name of the supplier concerned, the supplier's account code or reference number, and the number for the credit note received. Again, the net value of the credit note, the VAT applicable to the goods that have been returned, and the gross total for the credit note received, that is, after VAT is included. Each credit note is recorded sequentially on the date of receipt. And finally, as with the Purchases Daybook, the Purchases Returns Daybook is totalled and made ready for transfer to the ledgers. I hope you've enjoyed watching this Premier Training revision video, and thanks for watching.